Okay, we'll see how this goes. How are y'all doing tonight? Some of y'all might have been watching me earlier. I started to fly and my connection got lost and yada yada. Next thing I knew, it shut down on me and I didn't get to finish my fly. So I untied it and now I'm going to tie it again. So I'm using a hook that is, it's in the vise already. It's actually a hook that I got in San Marcos from like a gas station. It's a long skinny hook and it's a little longer than I typically tie the kind of fly that I'm going to tie. So now I'm going to tie a woolly booger, green olive woolly booger with bead chain eyes. So where did they go? When I untied it, my bead chain eyes took off. So I'll have to dig some more out. Let me see. So I've pre-cut these. These are from, you can see they're from a bead chain. And you just cut the wire and let it be two balls of two beads of the bead chain. I've got some bigger ones and some smaller ones. I've got some shiny ones. I've got some black ones. Typically I use the shiny ones because when you see them from the side, you see a shiny sphere. Come on, focus. He's not going to focus. Not that close. Anyway, it looks like an eyeball. You'll see in a second if you've never seen it before. So let me go ahead and switch the camera direction so you can watch what I'm doing. Thank you for watching, by the way. If you've never watched any of my fly tying videos, you can actually go. Oh, come on. Well, you can actually go to YouTube. This is really not cooperating. You can go to YouTube and search Quiet Man 28, or you can search Jason : fly tying, and then it should come up. I've got about 19 videos on there now, different versions. So if you're watching this one, it's bead chains, and you'll know that if you watched one before that I like to tie with bead chains. So my issue is that my camera's not letting me zoom. My phone is not letting me zoom, and I don't know why. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. Start here. Tie on a layer of thread. I was actually kind of glad I had to restart this because when I tied in my eyes at the beginning, I tied them way too far back. I'm going to build up a little ball of thread there. Come over here. Build up a ball of thread there. I'm going to go ahead and snip this trash piece of thread. I see that someone is watching, but I can't tell who's watching because it's not showing up on my screen. So thank you for watching if you are. So you just do crossing wraps between the eyes after setting the bead chain straddling the hook shank. So just several wraps one direction and then several wraps the other direction, and you'll kind of get a feel for how to wrap it because you'll see the eyes not being perpendicular to the hook shank. You'll see them start to be a little lop-jawed. So a few turns just to build up a kind of a nose. Now I've got that in. I'm going to go ahead and wrap backwards. This thread is really thin, so it takes a little while to get the shank of the hook covered, but mainly the whole reason for putting the thread on the hook is it makes the hook rough, and it gives it something for the materials that you tie on to bind down to. It gives it some rough finish so that it'll grab the materials. So the first material I tie into this one is marabou, and these are the marabou that I had tied on before, so they're already trimmed. I'm going to get them about the same length that they were. So I just cut it off right behind the eyes, get out some of this fluffy, get it back where I want it, and go up between my finger and thumb. Just work my way down onto the hook with it. A few turns over it, one turn underneath it, and back over it. Just helps bind it down because it can be floppy side to side. And then I'm just going to make wide turns here, and that'll help bind down this stuff to the body and give the body a little bit of life, a little fluffiness, like it's when the fish bites it, it'll be like it's actually biting a bug of some type. It won't like immediately spit it out. Okay, so I work my way back to where the tail is there. Some people will take this tail and they'll get it about there, and they'll take that and pinch it off or cut it off. I like that length. It's a good balance halfway either way. So now I have 3 parts to tie in. The first part is this is micro chenille. This is going to be my body. I'm going to wrap this. Once I get it tied in, I'll wrap it around all the way forward, and it'll build up my body and make it kind of segmented looking because of the wraps. Okay, work my way back. I'm going to wrap this way, so I'll go ahead and get it over on that side. Get back down to where my tail starts. Then the next piece is crummy. I'm going to pull this back forward. I did not tie in my flash. I think I'm going to use a new flash. So this is olive crystal flash. I take one strand and just grab it. It's tied together with a zip tie. That's the way it comes in the package. And if you can get one strand and easily just carefully pull it through, it comes out, and the rest of them stay together. So the way that I do this, I like to have 2 on either side of the tail. So I fold it in half till the ends meet, and then I take the loop, snip it, and then I just take that and fold it over together. Keeps me from having too much waste on that. A lot of people will cut all that off of the packaging. Separate this a little bit like that. Get it on both sides. Like that. So where I messed up is that I tied that in after I tied in the yarn. That's okay, because I'll just put it there and then wrap forward. I'm just going to tie this down to the body. Okay. Okay, got that in. And I like to trim these so they're the same length as the tail. There. On both sides. Alright, so that flash is done. And then this feather doesn't look like much because I've already tied it in once. But it is Yeah, that's shredded. I need a new feather. Never mind. So I have another feather prepared. These feathers are called schlappen, which is a funny word, but I take the feather and I strip off the back side of it. So it's only got barbs on one side. And I'm going to take the shorter end, because these things get bigger as they go towards the rooster or whatever. I'm going to tie this in here. And again, I'm going to tie it down like I did the other feathers, tie it down to the body. I'm going to snip off this trash here, like that, so that it doesn't get in the way of the eyes. The thing's still not letting me zoom. Anyway, then, last but not least, there it is. We've got one more piece of flash. And I'm going to tie this in also. And this one is going to wrap around the body after the feather. It's going to help protect the feather from being broken. Alright, so first one. Hey June. I'm ready for you to come back, man. So, hope everything's going well, though. Hope you're having a good time. June's in the Philippines, floating around in the rain. So, I'm going to take my chenille. I'm going to wrap this forward, touching turns. Oh, I need to wrap my thread towards the front to where I'm going to tie off this yarn. So, come all the way to behind the eyes here. Take a few turns to build up behind the head, and then that's where I'm going to tie off everything. So I brought my thread back to here. Now whenever I wrap this forward, I'll tie a couple of turns to hold that down. And then I'll wrap my feather forward to there, and I'll tie it off, and then I'll wrap the flash down and tie it off. So again, I'm here, I'm doing with the chenille first, touching turns. So when you tie a fly, you got to think back to front and layers. Got to layer it up. Now, again, I tied this fly earlier and the video shut off, but I'm glad that it shut off because there's two things that I did. One, I put the eye too far back and I didn't like it. And then secondly, I didn't cut myself enough chenille, and so I almost ran out of chenille. I made it work, and my feather was actually too short as well. Just had all kinds of junk going on with that last one. But luckily the video ended before I was done with the fly. So I untied it and retied it. Got plenty here now. Okay, so I wrapped it forward all the way. Now I'm going to take the thread, and it just takes a couple of turns to hold stuff down. So I'll just take 3 turns here. And that's good enough to hold that thread, or that yarn for now. And I'll hold my thread up out of the way so I can go under and snip it. If I lose connection again, I'm going to be really upset. Let's see if I can. It says low network connection, so hopefully I don't lose you guys. Hopefully, because it's about the place that I was when I was tying. It says live again, so maybe we're good. Okay. Next is the feather, and I'm going to take my hackle plier. This is a hackle plier. You squeeze it, grab the shaft of the feather, or the quill. Ooh, I dropped it. And come on. Okay. Got a little twist in it. That's fine right there. So I'm just going to start wrapping forward. And when you wrap this, then the barbs stand up on end like that. And you just do evenly spaced turns. And you see I didn't evenly space those enough. I mean, I evenly spaced them, but I ran out of feather because this is such a long hook. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to wrap these a little wider. We'll go wider like this. So take bigger gaps. Make it all the way to the head this time. There we go. And pull it up. Take the thread, go behind where that last turn of the feather was. Make 3 turns and come in and snip that shaft there. Okay, you pull back. Take a few good solid turns here. Make sure this is good. Now I'm going to take my flash that I tied in. I'm going to go backwards against this feather. And I'm going to zig and zag to make sure that it goes in between the barbs. So I don't tie any down. Just wiggling back and forth. And what this will do is this will cross the quill of the feather that's wrapped around. And then if I ever get on a fish with this, it'll have less of a tendency to break. Or if the feather does break, it won't come unraveled off the hook. Sometimes you'll do that and the feather will be sticking off like that. So I've got my turns there. I'll take this flash and snip it off. Okay. Then I'm going to take a couple more turns here. Go a couple more turns through the eyes and then in front of the nose. And my tie off is going to be first a half hitch. I go around my finger. So cross over the fly, come down, and then the thread goes under and ties off. I'll do that one more time. Around my finger, lay the X down on top, flip it off my finger so it's down here now. I tie it snug, and then I'm going to take my final turn and cover that a little better. This is going to be my knot, so go over my finger, under the fly where the thread is, back over my finger, behind the other wrap. Now I'm going to snip the thread off, snip off my bobbin. So now I go through my loop, grab the tag end of the thread and pull it through like that. Do that twice. Okay, now I'm going to pinch this so that my tag end, or my loop of my thread doesn't get in the way of the feathers, and grab them and pull them down and pull it tight. I give it a track to go down. So do that one more time. Take a couple of turns. I'm going to go over my finger, under the fly, over my finger, but behind the last turn. I'm going to go through the loop, grab the tag end, pull it through and put it back where it was. Come under again, grab the second one, pull it through again. Now I'm going to come here and pinch this. So the last time I pinched it, this time I'm going to do a different version. I'm going to use a pointed object, scissors, or you can use like a ballpoint pen, And I'm going to just come down and lay this in right where I want it, right there. And then I'm going to just make sure that's snug, come in and snip it. And then I'm going to take my trusty clear nail polish. I don't want too gloppy, but I'm going to put a little bit behind the eyes and a little bit mixed into my thread wraps there. Also, I like to put some on the edge of the eye because the wire that goes between the bead chain that holds the bead chain together, when you snip it, it can be sharp and it can actually break your leader material when you're casting, and it can cause your line to break. So anyway, so that was the fly. I know it was going in and out of being live. Now it'll be recorded and I'll post it, but thank you guys for watching. Those people that watched, June, I hope you're having a great time. Gus, thank you for watching. And you guys are up late. But anyway, so there's a olive woolly booger with bead chain eyes tied right here in Richmond, California. Hopefully I'll get to fish it one day. And check out my other fly tying videos if you'd like. I don't tie the greatest flies. Sometimes they look amazing, and sometimes I just tie a bunch of crap on a hook, but it's fun to watch, and it's the steps are still there. You can still learn how to do different things, even if my flies don't come out great all the time. But the steps, wrapping the feather from the back to the front, tying the string over it, tying the using the flash to protect the feather, using bead chain, using marabou for a tail, things like that. Those are things that are basic skills, and so even if mine don't look great, it shows you how to do it. So hey Vilma, you're up late. I'll see you early in the morning at work. I just finished tying my fly, but I'm about to post this thing. So anyway, thank you for watching, those that watched, and those that tune in, and check out my other fly tying videos on YouTube. Quiet Man 28. Quiet Man is one word, and the number 28 at the end. Or you can search most of my videos. I label them Jason : fly tying, and then the name of the fly. So you might find it that way, but Quiet Man 28 is what my handle is on there, so you should be able to find me. So I just, some different types of flies, and I was doing it for fun and trying to tie different flies every time. So this fly was another, basically the same kind of fly, but just different colors, slightly different, couple of steps in there, but basically it was the same. So anyway, but it was it's fun to practice and to put it on video and see who watches. So thanks for watching. Have a good night.